Hello, Internet friends. So I'm here with Secretary General Kofi Annan. Hello, Mr. Kofi Annan.
Hi, how are you?
I'm very good. And so I just thank you very much for accepting this and interview. And so we're here talking to the social media part of the social media space. And just to explain you a little bit, so we have a few of our friends here who already prepared some questions.
Yes.
And they will interact with us.
Excellent.
Hello, Loic. This is Juliana Rotich, Environment Editor of Global Voices Online. The question that I'd like you to ask Kofi Annan is how he plans on engaging the youth, particularly in dealing with deforestation in Africa, and whether social media is part of the mix in his strategy, particularly when dealing with the many environmental issues that we have around the world. Thank you very much.
Youth are very much part of the solution. And in fact, you are the ones who are going to inherit the earth. And we should get you involved as early as possible so that you know the issues, you work with us on the solutions, and you are also engaged. We will be launching a movement, a campaign, getting everyone involved in climate change. And in fact, we'll be launching a campaign called Climate Justice to ensure that everyone accepts that pollution has a cost and the polluter must pay. And this campaign, of course, would also entail question of reforestation. I know in Kenya, for example, working with Nobel Prize winner Wangari Maathai, millions of trees have been planted, mainly by young people. So you are part of the solution. And in our own discussions and debates, we also include young people. Today, I met with 6 young people from all over the world discussing this movement, this campaign, and the need for us to protect our planet. So be sure that we will engage you and your friends. Thank you, Juliana.
So, Mr. Secretary General, this is a question from Pistachio, who is asking, as a social media expert, how concretely bloggers and people on Twitter and all on this video, using all this new social space can help you spread the word for climate change.
No, we would want to engage all of you and use all means to get our message out, and we will be making it possible. In fact, this morning when we discussed the movement and the campaign, we indicated that we will link up with you. We would also make the messaging very clear and seek your support and engagement. So we are committed, and I think recently we've had a wonderful example of how you can reach millions using the medium, particularly the campaign of Obama has woken the world up.
What should we tell to our friends?
I think you should tell your friends that environment is everyone's problem. And the question of climate change is not something that is going to happen in the future. It is happening now and having real impact on lives of individuals and communities, to the extent that, as I said this morning, even the head of state is thinking of going to buy a new country for his people.
Because Maldives, right?
Maldives, yeah, because the island may be washed away. And it's having impact on people whose fertile lands are now almost desert, and countries that no longer have fresh water. So it's having a real impact, and we need to be concerned about them because it affects us all. When there is poverty, when there's not enough to eat, it creates social instability. We saw it when there was food crisis last year, and we are beginning to see it with the current economic crisis, how angry, frustrated people are, how afraid they are, and they take to the streets. It's happening in France today. Tomorrow it will be somewhere else, and so it goes, unless we find solutions to the issues that we are dealing with, but sustainable solutions.
So there has been a financial worldwide crisis. You're afraid of a social worldwide movement as well?
Yeah. You have to be very careful. You've already had people who are opposed to globalization, who think globalization has caused all the For them, this is a proof. And you have to be careful that they don't get mobilized to take to the streets to object.
So the best is probably for us to show the example each of us.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Hi, Loic. Ethan Zuckerman here. 2 questions for Secretary General Annan. Good evening, Mr. Secretary. First question, what does the UN need to carry out its work in these parts of the world, and what can citizens of comparatively wealthy nations do?
I think on the question of peacekeeping and the UN efforts in conflict areas around the world, be it Democratic Republic of the Congo or Sudan or Somalia, I think first of all, when the United Nations, that is the Security Council, gives a mandate to the UN staff to take action in Congo or Sudan, they should make sure that they have the means, the resources, the equipment they need to do their work. And for example, in Sudan and in Darfur in particular, which is the size of France, we have very few soldiers. People talk in terms of 17,000 soldiers or 10,000 soldiers. 10,000 soldiers in a territory the size of France is a very small number. And so what you need is you need mobility so that you can make up with speed and mobility the numbers you lack. And so that when there's a crisis, you are there before it's too late. So you need helicopters, you need armored patrol cars, you need 4x4s to be able to move, but often they don't have the equipment. The UN peacekeepers in Sudan have been looking for 18 helicopters for almost 18 months, and not one country has given them those helicopters, and the helicopters are available. It's not because they don't exist. How could you give these brave young men and women such important tasks, but not give them the means? Here, citizens can put pressure on their governments to be generous and to follow through their actions with the resources required. And I hope you and your fellow citizens can get this message across.
And
on the question of the elections in Ghana, I happened to be there when the results were declared, and I was very happy about that. I think what we need to do is to analyze it, draw the necessary lessons, and share it with other countries, and seek to apply it in other elections in Africa. Because it's only when you learn the positive lessons and apply them in the relevant situations that you make progress. And this is what I would recommend, and I've already started discussing with groups of people how we should apply the lessons learned during the Ghanaian elections. So thank you for that question as well.
Thank you very much.